The yard disposal includes grass clippings, limbs, and leaves. To dispose of those limbs, they have to be in torrent diameter and broken up into small pieces when taken to the landfill. There is a specified area at the landfill for residents to take that. And when you drive up, you just let the ladies at the scale house know that that they have yard debris, and they'll point them in the right direction of where it needs to go.
How long have we serviced the road?
I guess about a year and a half now it has been available to residents.
Thank you. We'll work to get that information out to all the residents of Bryant so they can use that service.
Yes.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, this is American Heart Month across the country, and today is Go Red Day in Bryant. I see a lot of red out in the audience. I don't know if that was by accident or if you actually got the memo, so if you had a chance to wear red today, we appreciate that. I will briefly read the citation and proclamation to the citizens of Bryant. Whereas the American Heart Association is the only voluntary health agency whose sole mission is to build healthier lives free of cardiovascular disease and stroke. And whereas heart attacks and strokes kill and disable more people each year than all other health-related causes combined. And whereas it is now possible to reduce this terrible toll dramatically through proper diet, exercise, and medical care. And whereas the American Heart Association and its local affiliates have engaged in a concerted effort to focus public attention on opportunities we have to protect ourselves against the ravages of this affliction. And whereas the American Heart Association provides health care, nutrition, and physical activity suggestions on its website. And whereas the City of Bryant is interested in promoting health wellness for all of its citizens, now therefore I, Jill Downs, Mayor of the City of Bryant, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim the day of February the 24th, 2015 is Wear Red Day for the American Heart Association in the City of Bryant, and I urge all residents to join me in helping to promote the vital importance of preventative health care and to support educational programs to help fight against heart disease and stroke. If you wore red today, do we have everybody in red? Almost. Appreciate that. Thank you. These may seem like little things, but when they're done year after year, and we all get behind them, it just gives us an opportunity to reflect on the importance of that and to remind our loved ones to be active and healthy. And it gives us inspiration within our communities of how to create a healthier community for our children and for all of our citizens. So thank you for that.
Mayor, also with in connection with what Tiffany was talking about, we're having the spring cleanup in March that citizens will be able to take advantage of for award if you want to.
Yes, we have, if you'll notice in your water bill this month or on the city website, there's a schedule of when the street department will come by and pick up any yard clippings, limbs, those type of things throughout the month of March. They are in one ward each week, and they will not go back. So it's really important that for your ward, you look at that ward map and look at the schedule. And if you're here, you can share that with your neighbors in your neighborhood tonight. That's great. It's also an opportunity for each of us to just take some extra care with our neighborhoods before spring starts. Also, Celine Green is having a big community-wide cleanup day during April, and there will be information in the March and the April newsletters pertaining to that day. And that's where you can clean out your garage and take whatever your garbage can won't fall off up, and there's a big recycle day, and there's lots of benefits to utilizing that day as well. Say that louder.
Keep Bryant beautiful.
Keep Bryant beautiful in conjunction with Celine Green. Thank you very much. And they are working very hard with a lot of our youth organizations and volunteer art organizations for that day. So when we started some of these things a few years ago, and we're really starting to see the energy behind these groups. A lot of people throughout the community, a lot of times remain nameless and quiet, but they work very hard. So when you see these things going on, really get behind it and support them in those efforts and join them in making our city even better than it already is. So that brings us to, we're going to move a couple of things up on the agenda. If nobody opposes that, just to move some people out. We're going to move public comments up in just a few minutes, but right now, while we're in announcements and presentations, Jack Trumper with Stevens and Paul Phillips with Cruz and Associates is here with a presentation on some opportunities for the city to restructure some financing that would benefit the city. So I'm going to turn it over to y'all just for a presentation. Council, you will not be asked to take action on this until a later meeting. This is simply a presentation.
Mayor Dabbs, member of the council, on behalf of Paul Phillips and myself, thank you all for the opportunity to speak before you this evening. This is just to give you all an update on a couple of refunding opportunities on your franchise fee revenue bonds, your Series 2008 and your Series 2010. Last year, somewhere in this time frame, you all had authorized Paul and I, Stephen's crew, to go forward with the refinancing when it became economically feasible for the 2008 bonds. Well, since that time, the 2010 bonds are callable August of this year, so they are now also in a position to be refinanced at lower interest rates as well. And so what Paul and I wanted to do is give you an update on what those numbers look like based on where the market is today. We are still in a very attractive interest rate environment, and so this definitely presents an opportunity for the city of Bryant to refinance some outstanding bonds. But what we're talking about is the 2008 and the 2010 franchise fee revenue bonds. So if you take a look at this memo, the 2008 bonds are scheduled to pay off on August 1, 2029, and they became callable last year, February 1, 2014. Your largest payment right now on those bonds is about $348,617, and it's got an average coupon or an average interest rate of 4.739%. The 2010 bonds, which are callable August 1, 2015, which means we can refinance both these issues and close the new bonds within 90 days of August 1, which would be around the May time frame. And so, believe it or not, we'll be here before we know it. The largest payment on that issue is $355,500, and your average coupon on that issue is 4.787%. So what Paul and I presented for you all here are two options. One option is what we call a level savings, which provide an estimated savings of $1,747,500 on a gross basis. On a net present value basis, it would be $1,089,000, and is expressed as a percentage of what is currently outstanding. That's about a 12.316% savings. That's on a level savings, which we'll show you here momentarily. On an accelerated savings, which is the direction we were going down last year because it provides most of your savings up on the front end, it would be an estimated savings of about $1,169,000, but in the first 4 years, you would realize $1,014,800 of that in the first 4 years, based on current market, which represents an NPV or net present value benefit of 11.705%. So we have 4 schedules for you. If you turn the page to what we're calling Schedule 1, and it's listed in the top left-hand corner, this is what your current repayment schedule looks like on the 2008 issue. And you'll see in the third column, you'll see under coupons, the rates in 2015 is 4.05% out to 5% in 2029. And in the right-hand column, you can see what your total annual principal and interest payments are, which are right there around the $345,000, $350,000 a year range. That's the 2008 issue. And these issues, by the way, for the 8 to 10 issue were used for parks and for streets. If you turn the next page to Schedule 2, this is what your current repayment schedule looks like on the 2010 bonds. And again, in the third column under coupons, you can see 3% on the short end out to 5% on the long end. And then you can see your payments are, again, in the right-hand column, are approximately around $350,000 a year payments. So, what we provided for you all in the next 2 schedules are what the level savings would look like and what the accelerated. So if you turn to Schedule 3, and you look at the third column, where the market is in current time, you can see we're reducing your coupons or your interest rates down to 2% on the short end, out to 3.875 on the long end. And if you look at those last 3 columns, you see new DS, which is the proposed new DS, old DS, which is the old debt service, what DS stands for. That's what you're currently paying. And these are both issues combined. And the savings, which is nothing more than the difference between those 2 payments, would be approximately $68,000, $69,000 a year, or an overall cash flow savings of $1,747,000. So this is what we call the level savings. Any questions on the level savings schedule? If you turn the page, we've done what we call accelerated savings, which pushes as much of the savings as possible up on the front end. Again, you can see your coupons are 2% on the short end, out to 3.875 on the long end. And then if you focus on those last 3 columns, new DS or new debt service proposed, old debt service, which you're currently paying, you can see that you have savings of a little over $23,000 in the first year, $438,000 in the second year, $441,000 in the third year, and then $221,000 in the fourth year. And so all four of those added up equals about $1,114,800. And so you can see beginning in the fifth year, there is savings every year, but it's less than $5,000 a year. And so we call this an accelerated savings because it kind of gives you the ability that you can gain more on the front end. Because it would take approximately 16 years on the level savings to equal what you could equal in the first 4 years on the accelerated savings. So it gives you something that you can compare the two by. So this is based on where interest rates are today. They change daily. This is something that Paul and I will keep you all updated on what the market is doing. If this is something that you want us to proceed forward with and make that determination at the next meeting, that will give us the ability to tell Ryan Bowman to start producing documents. There's no cost associated with the financing unless the financing takes place, and we really wouldn't want to sell bonds until the spring, and then we probably also want to wait until the audits are completed as well. So is there anything, Paul, that you like to add?
Good. Any other questions?
Yes, how much additional money would this be?
As far as new construction funds, we have not run those numbers, but we would be happy to do that. That would be, this is what we call a refunding. By raising new funds, we would call that more of a restructuring, and we would be happy to produce those numbers for the city. These we were just talking about just the straight refinancing for interest cost savings.
I'd like to know how much you do construction money this would cost for generate.
Keeping the payments at the current construction.
We have,
Just to see where it might do for.
we have.
Any other questions?
What do you need from us?
Tonight, not anything, just we haven't talked about this, since toward the end of last year, so Paul and I just wanted to bring it to your all's attention. Rates are still very attractive in the municipal bond market, and once the 2010 issue, Mr. Kendall announced that we can throw it in the mix, it just makes it a little bit more attractive.
Great, and I think, this will just give you something to ponder, how you want to achieve that savings, and again, well, I have a question about the way to get some additional proceeds, at least for informational purposes. Bring that back next time.
I think last time we discussed it, we decided accelerated.
That was correct. And prime business was street work.
I have a question. This is even payment at the same level as
Well, lower.
lower.
Yeah, it's not extending them, it's keeping the same repayment terms, but it's lowering because of lower interest rates. That's correct.
You're going from interest rates a little above 4.70 to down to the low 3.
Other questions, comments? We'll get back to you on what the next steps will be.
And we'll get those over there. Thank you all very much. Have a great rest of your day.
Y'all too, enjoy. Do we have any committee or commission reports tonight? I have one report, but Parks Committee is still meeting, so I'm going to wait until Mayor's comments to make that one later in the meeting.
I do have, and the water committee was discussing it tonight, but I just want everyone to be aware that the water and wastewater committee is looking at different options that have been presented by Chris engineers. There's approximately 8 different options on water, additional water sources. This is nothing that's going to be acted on quickly, but it's something that we need, that the council needs to be aware of. It's something that we need to be looking at in the future, because if we decide tonight we want to do something else with our water, we're looking at 4 years to do anything. So it's something we need to constantly be checking on, watching on, and maybe come back with any recommendations they have on that.
Okay, next, Deputy Davis is here with the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. And other members of the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council.
Thank y'all for having us. We're here to present a check to the city for $400, but this is just a $100 check we got from our Drive Smart Challenge, representing it. This is representing the check, but what we did was we went to school and we tracked how many people were on their cell phones, and then we told the people that we were looking at and we saw how much it went down, the amount of people using their cell phones, and we got some money out of it. We'd like to present it to the city for future use for Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, for a future event that is yet to be determined.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that. And let me say, they're talking about monitoring people as they're driving into the parking lot that are on their cell phones while they're driving. And then these kids did an awareness campaign, and then they went back out and they did this again and showed the drop. So that was fantastic, it's very important. The work that you're doing possibly to save somebody's life. So we really are appreciative of that, and I look forward to the plans that you have for the events that you're going to have in the future. Would y'all like to get a picture? Any aldermen want to join me?
Stand up behind you. You're going to get pretty wide.
Okay, we have a Mayor's Youth Council proclamation about the upcoming millage election. Whereas education is a significant factor in the development of children, communities, and countries by contributing to better jobs and economic growth, improving health, and creating a foundation for peace and democracy. And whereas much of our city's heritage is rooted in an exceptional school district providing outstanding education, with many of our schools ranking high in the state of Arkansas and meeting national educational standards. And whereas many of the schools in our district are rapidly approaching maximum capacity of students, and secondary facilities such as cafeterias and fine art buildings need upgrades and renovations. And whereas Bryant has the lowest millage rate in Saline County, yet it's the largest school district with the fastest growing population. And whereas the Bryant School Board has placed a $4.9 million initiative for a special election to be conducted on March 10th, 2015. Therefore, we, the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, do hereby promote support for the Bryant School millage increase and encourage all voting citizens within the Bryant School District to support the community and the school district by casting a vote on Tuesday, March 10th, 2015 in favor of the millage increase. Thank you.
Thank you for your good work. I'm now going to open it up to public comments. Dr. Kimbrell is present with us tonight, so thank you for being here. And former Alderman Scott Curtis and Ralph Principal is here as well. So if y'all would like to start us off with public comments, we'll start with you.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I'm Scott Curtis. I live at 2903 Woodstocker, and I want to come here tonight. I want to bring to you a resolution. As you well know, the Bryant School District is a very growing district. We're projected to grow 300 students within the next 10 years. On March 10th, the district will bring a proposal for a 4.9 increase to the millage. Currently, we're at 37.2, and that will raise us to 42.1. If I may, I'd like to go ahead and read the resolution, Mayor Dabbs. Whereas the Bryant Bryant Public School System is one of the top-ranked and desired school systems in the state of Arkansas, and whereas the Bryant Public School is its own separate government entity, controlled and governed by its own school board and administrators, and regulated by the state of Arkansas. Whereas the Bryant School District is one of the city's greatest assets for the health, strength, educational development, economic drivers, and growth in the city of Bryant. Whereas the Bryant School System is holding a special election concerning millage rates for the funding capital improvements and other required growth projects for the school system. Whereas the city of Bryant supports the continued growth, providing of education, excellence, and positive economic impact the school system provides the residents of the city of Bryant. And whereas the city of Bryant supports the school system's millage proposal as it is beneficial to the residents of the city of Bryant. I'm asking tonight for a unanimous decision from the council in support of the millage on March 10th.
Thank you very much. And Council, we have an opportunity to vote on that resolution later in the agenda. Thank you very much. Okay, the floor is now open for public comment. Yes, Ms. Statton?
Mayor, Council, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm the executive pastor at Bryant Springs First Baptist Church, and I was probably one of those drivers with the textbook, so I hope you don't have any vision. I don't do it with driving, just take the school. I appreciate the opportunity to share a letter with the council that I sent to the mayor recently. I've been a resident here for 14 years, served on the Chamber of Commerce for Bryant, and currently serve on the Economic Development Council here in the city. And I want to just read this. It relates to the southern route that has been discussed quite a bit over the last many years. So let me read this to you. And this comes basically from Bryant Springs First Baptist Church. In hopeful anticipation that the city of Bryant would someday develop a southern route from the Raymore overpass to the airport, our church has offered free access and right-of-way to the city to pursue the Route 3 plans that have been proposed. It is our belief that completing this corridor for traffic can positively affect the growth and safety of Bryant and her citizens. Bryant Springs First Baptist Church is very committed to helping Bryant become a thriving, enticing place for people to live and raise their families. We believe that the long overdue corridor will be a giant leap for the community. We have and are developing a place at Raymar Field adjacent to the Raymar overpass for children to enjoy family-friendly sports with flag football, soccer, as well as future opportunities for the entire family. We've invested a lot of money out there to try to make this possible for the families in Bryant. A few of the reasons we believe this route will benefit the Bryant community include, number one, direct access to commercial growth in South Bryant and the airport complex. Number two, less congestion and danger on Reynolds Road for trucks and buses. Entice the Arkansas Highway and Transportation Department to build on and off ramps at Raymar Overpass. Provide additional access for emergency vehicles to service southern and eastern Bryant, including our new school facilities, and to provide better access to schools now located in southern Bryant. And that comes from Bryant Springs.
Good evening. My name is Todd Sellers. I'm a board member for the Bryant Area Chamber of Commerce. And three things tonight is that as a chamber board, we would like to state that we do support the South Route.
We also like to ask that you guys clarify that the route on the master street plan is the route, and to also request that you begin to acquire the right-of-way.
Councilwoman, thank y'all. Hello, everybody. My name is Lamont Cornwell. I'm the Executive Director of the Swain County Economic Development Corporation. In a short time, I'm here tonight. I won't present notes because I'm talking about something I believe is paramount to the economic development of Swain County. That is the South Loop. As a economic developer, professional economic developer, I know you've heard from time to time that FedEx was located here at the South Route. As a professional economic developer, I can tell you without certainty, I cannot say that because you don't know how it's finally going to come out. You don't know what they would find in the election, even if they had it. But I can tell you with almost certainty that they used it as an elimination factor. So you see site selectors look for ways to eliminate sites as opposed to select sites. And by virtue of being a poor connector to that area, I think they used it as an elimination factor to make their job that much easier. So I think it's time with the South Route there, to make it harder for airports to get in. Within Swain County, there's only two industrial heavy manufacturing or manufacturing sites. That is, in the eastern part of the county, there's a mega site which is 2,000 acres, which is set up for something like a Toyota or something of that nature. The only other approved site recognized by Arkansas Economic Development Corporation and Metro Little Alliance and Swain County Economic Development Corporation is our airport. There is no other site approved. When the lead comes into the AEDC or NLRA, they forward that directly to SCEDC to be the word within the communities. We have the South Loop. Egress and ingress into the property is important. I also think it's important that be extended to Sardis Road. If you don't do that, you'll eliminate the capability of getting grant funds from Metro Plan or from the federal government. Much like you achieve the High Cool Road and 80-20 matching funds makes that road much more palatable. You do not have to build a road to use it as an economic driver, but you do have to have the right-of-way purchase, and it is helpful if you have 100% plans today. Or without 100% plans of the road to make it what they call shovel-ready, you won't receive the grants that you need to make it palatable. The other reason I'd like to talk to you about is safety. If my child went to that school out there, you realize there's only one way in and out of that elementary school. Only one way in and out of the airport. What if there was a major accident on Reynolds Road and you couldn't get to either the elementary school or the airport? This will allow you a second entry into that airport. You wouldn't approve the subdivision in this community that had probably 30 or 40 homes in it without a second entry for safety issues, for fire, police, and ambulance. We have that now with all those children in that school with only one egress into that school system. The fourth thing is, I think it's important for connecting artery between the interstate and Sardis Road. The grant issue is true. I think it's important. The funding available makes it easy for the city to make it happen. But I also think you need it there from a simple standpoint of economic growth. The main thing is to eliminate your traffic issues. Think what Sardis Road would be like if you had access off Sardis Road directly past the airport to the service road. Those three major issues make it economic growth. But I tell you, as councilman, councilwoman, mayor, and citizens here of Swain County, as an economic developer, you have an airport which is a major economic driver, and is being held back by inaccessibility to connectivity to the freeway, which is one of the major things that I'm requesting when I fill out an RFI. I completed an RFI this last week for a potential location at the airport, and I stressed the truth a little bit. Y'all forgive me for that. I told them that I thought that we were in the final stages of at least talking about a plan to develop a road to the airport. So, as professional economic development, I've been with this community for a very long time. I want to thank you in advance for your positive help moving forward on the South Route.
Mayor, could I ask you something before we
Sure.
leave?
Absolutely.
If council chooses to have a workshop on March the 10th, would the Saline County Economic Development be able to participate in that as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And the Airport Commission?
I've been to these airport commission meetings, I've attended the city meetings here. Anything I can do to help with this project, I'll be here to work with it, because I think it's the basic economic driver with sales tax issues like they are. We need to look at other sources of growth. So I'll be happy to work any way I can with anybody, you individually, you together as a group, any citizens who want to talk about it. I've got a lot of numbers that I will bore you with tonight. I appreciate your question.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Josh Cox, 2317 Cherry Creek Circle. Apologize up front, I'm fighting off the cold. I got some water, some cough drops, so we'll muster through it, right? Some of y'all probably know I stand here today, as I have since 2008, in opposition of the southern route from I-30, which would negatively impact two neighborhoods and the city park. A few years ago, I was asked to speak for the Johnswood and Cherry Creek neighborhoods. I say that to assure you that my opinions are shared by many citizens, and not just in that area, but throughout the city of Bryant. And I'm sure many of my thoughts are going to get echoed when I'm done here tonight. Firstly, I'd like to say I'm extremely disheartened in that we were assured that no vote would occur on this issue without the city first notifying us. This notification simply did not happen. Had it not been for a few of us watching the council agenda, we would have no idea this topic was being discussed tonight. Many of the council members are newly elected, and they have limited history with regard to this issue. Since 2008, the citizens have been subjected to multiple public meetings and surveys, and each one finished with the same conclusion. We, the citizens, feel this road is unneeded and unwanted. I'd like to stress that we are not willing to gamble millions of our tax dollars, and if you build it, they will come crapshoot being driven by the Chamber of Commerce. As elected officials, you were voted to represent the citizens of Bryant, not the developers who are county economic improvement boards. I stress again, this road is unwanted by the citizens of Bryant. With so many other extreme safety concerns regarding roads such as Spring Hill and Boone, a new southern route from I-30 should remain a low priority. People are losing their lives on Spring Hill Road. We need to be focusing our time, our energy, our taxpayer money on fixing the existing infrastructure before spending millions of dollars on a road the citizens have repeatedly rejected. Oh, and address the multiple school issue. Spring Hill is already a major access to two schools. And I do have a kid that goes to Oklahoma. And as a firefighter, I have seen much larger burning hazards with much more restricted access. 3 years ago, the council, after hearing the voice of the citizens, voted to table this issue indefinitely. I am requesting that you place the opinions and safety of your citizens first and foremost, and finish the work started by councils before you, and vote no to the resolution that will allow the mayor to negotiate and acquire offers for a southern route from I-30. Thank you all for your time.
There's a lot of council people that, I'm sorry, I don't even know you, but had you been here in 2009, 10, 11, and 12, you would have seen my face along with Josh's. My name is Sylvia Adams. I reside at 1303 Johnswood Road in Bryan, Arkansas. I have resided there at that location since 1984. I am a native Arkansan. I'm 67 years of age. I've always been proud of the city of Bryant until now. Just as Josh, we were made some promises by the city council and your predecessors that were not kept. This proposed road route does not join my property at all. So if any of you think I'm just one of those people on Johnswood Road that doesn't want this road coming through there, you're wrong. If I didn't live on Johnswood Road, I still wouldn't want to come through there. So, with that understood, I feel as Josh Cox and others that a truly unbiased study should be done to make sure that whatever route is chosen, and let it be known that none of this group is opposing a route to the south. We're opposing that route to the south. we're opposing the fact that routes to the south have not been studied properly. In our opinion, a lot of money was spent by the city. I believe Mayor Gass was in discussion with us, and there was about, over $90,000 on this proposed study that has already taken place. The money has been spent. In 2008 is when I became a part of a large group of citizens of Bryant, as Josh said, that are not just living on Johnswood Road or in Cherry Creek, that are opposed to the selection method of a southbound route going through several neighborhoods to allow what we feel to be poor connectivity to the area at the airport for development, and now secondarily serving a transportation route to the existing school and upcoming schools to be built at the airport. And in listening to what was said previously, I believe now you're being asked to correct a mistake that was already made. I don't understand, as a citizen of Bryant, why you built a school at an airport with only one way in it. Looks like poor planning. Looks like wasting money.
Amen.
We feel that in and of itself to be questionable in choice, and we do understand that the FAA has issued some strict requirements about additional rooftops there. So I'm sure there's going to be some infringement there on this incoming surge of commercial growth at the airport. We encourage the new members of the council to review and study the project history that is touted as the selected route. That's not true. It has been offered by a few as the selected route. The alternative routes have not been studied in any sincerity at all. Within a city, when you can improve the existing roads to accommodate some extra traffic and serve as a temporary solution and offer a still appealing appearance and not interfere with neighborhoods, and you can build a new road that has been properly studied for route, etc. My question is, why would you not do that as opposed to this? And one additional comment I'd like to make in closing is the Arkansas Highway and Transportation Department is depended upon throughout this whole state. They have a real problem right now in servicing the existing infrastructure in the state. They've had to pull funds away from new projects. I suggest Saline County and the city of Bryant do the same thing. Thank you.
Council. My name is Dan Pruitt, and I am the Saline County Regional Airport Manager. I have just started this job at the end of October, and the southern route proposal will give great access to this airport. The airport that is located just south of Bryant is like a kind of diamond, the state park in Murfreesboro. It's rough, but it's got beautiful jewels, a little hard work put into it. And I just want to get up here and state that the airport is in support of the south route for the access to the industrial development that can happen on the property, the jobs that can bring to Bryant, that we don't have to travel the dangerous roads on I-30 to Little Rock, where there's plenty of wrecks every day. So I just want to get up here and speak in support of the south route. Thank you.
Again, Mr. Pruitt, would you be able to attend a workshop if we so choose to have one? Thank you.
Council and Mayor, thank you for the job you do. That's something I try to say every time I stand up here, because I know you put a lot of work into our city, and I appreciate I'm not here for the chamber tonight. I'm here as Ray Ann Fields, 1501 Maple Acres, citizen of Bryant, who believes that road is important to our future. I believe that it is not time for that road, it is past time for that road. The time for this road was 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. But doing something tonight doesn't mean it happens tomorrow either. But we got to get a start on it, folks. And for those who want Spring Hill and Big Road fix, you got time to do that while we work on the plan for this, because it'll take a while to spend a dime on doing it, even if y'all get started now. And let me say too, I'm a mother of a son who has a mechanical engineering degree, and it's that kind of professional that we need to have jobs for. What is it, Dr. Kimball, 9,000 in our schools? We got 9,000 kids in our schools and no jobs for them. And if this city doesn't take some effort to develop and have some jobs for them, they're gone and they're not coming back. Now, many of them will go anyway. We all know our kids don't necessarily come back to live by mom and dad, but the ones that want to, we don't have the jobs for them. And I personally would like to see us have that.
Council, I'm Corey Pratt, I live in Ward 2, as well as in Ward 4. I have children who go to school here, and don't have any property directly affected by my Route 3 or by Southern Route, but it is very important. That's very important for businesses in this town, it's very important for the children in this town growing up, that we keep progressing, strong, steady, like we have been already. I believe this road is overdue. From safety points of view, it's got some advantages, but just for overall growth of this town, it's needed to have extra transportation corridors, more transportation corridors, better transportation corridors. They're necessary. I know we're talking safety, and we've got some other things to mention. We've had lots of stuff on this. I am a member of the Economic Development Committee with Bryant Chamber, former chairman of that committee. I have been here in 2010 for them. I've seen this at the table, I've seen it brought up, I've seen town hall meetings, I've seen studies. We've seen routes. The Jacob Cincinnati study had several routes, and Route 3 was their choice of routes, which is also on the master street plan. There is a lot of good the city has going for it. It needs to be to help that growth and keep this going right. You know, if promises were made by leaders of the past, that's unfortunate. It needs to be overlooked. You can't keep them if they weren't made. We've got to move forward. We've got to have this progress. We've got to look for our town, the future that it's doing now. We've got so many young kids, so many young families, so many things going on, and that's why we need Route 3 to be pushed forward as far and as fast as we can, because we're overdue. We don't need to table it. We don't need another workshop. We need to go forward and have enough information to do that.
Jeremiah Oltmans, I come here also as a citizen, not a chamber member, board member, or from the Economic Development Committee. I've been a resident here since 1980s, and I saw then, you know, the problems that we had with all the water system in the 80s. I don't know if any of you over here to experience all of that, but it was awful. I was in 6th grade and I can remember it. And, yeah, the council at that time didn't have the foresight to improve the infrastructure, and I just hope that y'all learn from their mistakes and have the insight to improve the infrastructure, go ahead and improve this route. We can't have, as an echo what Corey has said, the can has been kicked down the road way too long. It's time to actually do something, and so I ask that y'all go ahead and approve and get the route and acquire some right of ways.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Annette Ford, and I live at 1405 Johnswood Road, and I'm a professional grandmother. 9 grandchildren. We purchased our house at 1405 Johnswood Road. We felt like it was a perfect place for us and for our grandchildren. We built a yard, we built playgrounds, we did everything we could to make it a good place. The people here tonight that are speaking for this are business. It's business. Myself and the others is personal. This involves our life. We saved an entire lifetime to to buy a house over on Johnswood Road. Lucky us, 1 year before all this started. It's just not fair to the people who live there, not just like myself, everyone that lives there, to bring all of this into a neighborhood that's very peaceful and quiet and lovely. I did make a note, I wanted to tell you that I just wish at any time one of you would come and sit on my deck. And you would look out in my yard and you would see deer, squirrels, and rabbits. And you realize that they're going to take away their habitat if they start building this road through there, because it's actually going to come through my yard. It's a lot different. You have a lot of different feelings about it when it comes to your yard. And that's what's happening to me. Coming through my yard, and I really don't know what else to explain to you, because except that it's not fair to us or people in the neighborhood that live there and plan on spending a lifetime there. I do want to make one point, actually 2 points about what's been said. The airport in Benton, if this was such a great thing, why did the airport in Benton fail? And there are 2 roads that go into the school. One is the road that leads to the airport, the other one is to where Zero Hill Road. There are 2 roads. I'm sorry, there are. So you just need to go out there and see. But I appreciate your time, I appreciate you listening, and I'm just saying, we would appreciate you guys thinking about it as if it were your property, your life, your children, and your grandchildren. Thank you.
My name's Barry Reynolds. I live at 4109 Olympia Drive. I don't have anything to say about the South Loop because I'm not versed in it. But I do have a question on the funds, the $186,000 that has been accounted for, that we were supposed to have a forensic audit on. Has anything been done on that?
The 2012 audit was complete, and that report is available. The 2013 and 14 audit will be complete before spring is over. That will give us a complete answer on that. And Joy, do you have any comment to that?
So the audit has not been done months ago? Is it going to be done? So I'm assuming they won't forward to that after this?
I don't know. I have to see the notification from you.
Well, I think we deserve some answers. It's been a long time, and it just keeps getting pushed under the rug, and
Well,
I see anything getting
I
done.
do want to clarify that the prosecuting attorney's office took a look at this. I asked the question, do you have any concerns that there's been any misappropriation of funds, any missing money? And it's nothing indicated that we have looked at so far that is what took
I'm not
place.
saying it's missing. If I'm doing a business, and in fact, I did ran 3 different businesses all at the same time, if I ended up with $186,000 missing, or not accounted for, misappropriated, or whatever, I'd have somebody's head.
Well,
I know it from already.
that's what we've been looking for, and that has not been,
Okay,
that's
let's
not
just
been
make
done
it-
with
let's
our
move on.
auditors. We disclosed that to the auditors ourselves, and asked them to take a look at that, and we're waiting for them to do that.
Okay, I'll wait for an answer, but I'd like to see this thing come to an end, find out what happened. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments at this time? Okay, if there are no other public comments at this time. Before we move on to old business, I'm going to go back up to announcements and presentations real quick. I'd like to announce that Brandon Griffin has been appointed as our permanent parks director. Brandon, will you stand, please? And in case you haven't heard, we will be properly roasting and toasting Derek, our former parks director, on Saturday night at the Legion at 7 o'clock? 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. And then we're all looking forward to that more than Derek is. But we welcome Brandon. He's hit the ground running, and have absolutely the utmost confidence in his ability to lead the parks department of the city of Bryant. I want to give just a few things that he has been with the city for quite some time, and I sat here and didn't look down at my iPad long enough and it closed on me. But I just want to share real quick a few of his accomplishments that he has made over the short period of time that he has already been here. He has managed a multi-million-dollar event center with a database of over 10,000 members with a special focus on sales, event scheduling, and advertising. Authored and won over $250,000 in grants for the city of Bryant, including joint use agreements with local school districts, as well as aided in downtown revitalization throughout the Jumpstart Community Grant Program. He's planned and implemented over $1 million budget for a parks and recreation annual budget, facilitated and trained incoming staff on government policies and procedures regarding programming, customer service, and personnel codes of conduct, and won the Quality of Life Award by Arkansas Business and Built Environment Award by the Governor's Council on Physical Fitness in 2012, and also assisted the city of Bryant in winning the Arkansas Recycler of the Year Award in 2013. Brandon has already made an incredible impact in the city of Bryant, and I know that he will do even more for us in his new role. So thank you very much, Brandon, for being willing to step into this new role for the city of Bryant. Appreciate you very much. Also, we have a new Parks Committee member that was appointed tonight, Gary Graham. Gary, would you stand? I'd like to welcome him to Parks Committee. He was has already, sitting in his first Parks Committee meeting tonight, already offered some wisdom that is helping them on some construction projects. He's the construction manager at Parco, and brings to the table some skill sets that will really round out our Parks Committee. I know that the Parks Committee welcomes him. And council, at this time, I'd like to ask for your vote of affirmation for his appointment to the Parks Committee. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Welcome to the Parks Committee, Gary. He lives in Ward 3. He has a large affection for Ashley Park that is out here, and has some vision for really revitalizing this park and really re-energizing the neighborhoods that live around here to really love this park more and to restore it back to being a vibrant part of this part of Bryant, in the heart of Bryant. And that partners very well with the work that's being done down here with the Jumpstart brand and all as well. So thank you very much for your willingness to serve. And that takes us to old business. Evidently, we completed it all last month, so we don't have any tonight. And we'll move straight into new business. First is animal control. Requesting approval to sign up for PayPal to collect donations online via the shelter wish list website.
Move for adoption. Second.
And a motion, second.
I'd like to ask Trish if it's already in your budget to be paid for as far as revenues in your budget.
Yes, ma'am. This will, the cost of this will actually be paid for by the money that is donated. It will come out of that. It's basically a percentage off the top. So, there's not a separate line item for it because it will actually be taken out before the lease.
PayPal said you get those. Take all the commission out, see if you can use all of it.
Any other questions? Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Trish. And council, I just want to say, as you do your motions and your seconds tonight, slow down just a little bit, give the clerk a chance to document who's giving the motion and who's giving the second. That'll help her out a lot.
Would you like us to say our last name whenever we make the motion, or just slow down, which would help most?
You can say your last name tonight, tell her who the list is.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Can I just say my first?
Sure. Next is a request to ask for approval to add training items to the 2015 budget. Is there a motion? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
You forgot to say your name, Mike.
All in favor?
Now, is this in your revenue budget as well?
This is not, this will be, let me rephrase that. It's not in our current budget. We do have enough funds to cover it.
Okay, that's what
I've checked, and we're in really good shape. And those of you that only count for a while know I'm really careful with our spending. So we're in good shape.
Appreciate that.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that takes us to item number 3, with the finance department. Thank you very much, Trish. Item number 3 has been taken care of in announcements and presentations. This is item number 4, presentation and approval of the 2015 January year-to-date city financial report.
Hello, everybody. Does everybody have a copy or has looked at a copy? Do you have any questions about the January report at this time?
Joy, I would like to point out that our expenses are above our revenue. That is very normal for the month of January. We have a lot of upfront costs that happen during the month of January. That always evens itself out. Council, I just want to point that out, so you can approve the revenue, but everything is very much within budget for January.
I did notice the revenues were down as well, but also I had spoken to Joy earlier today about a couple of items that are cash reserves, and she was going to check on those. But also on the designated tax fund with parks, fire, and police, if we can maybe just, and I have voiced my concern on those, so maybe look at those and maybe we need to readjust because we're not taking payments out of fire and police anymore. They're coming out of general, so maybe we might need to adjust those accordingly, move some of that money into general. And Joy assured me that she's going to monitor that and advise us on that.
Just keep the dates on that, Joy.
And then also one other thing, I mean, just to draw everybody's attention, the people that were here last year probably realized that you used to get a separate report for water, wastewater, and then street in general, but this year we combined it. Before I did that, I got permission from both the enterprise auditor and the leg auditor before I combined the two reports. So I hope, and I'm not done yet streamlining the reports, I'd really like to actually get them down a little bit more concise as the year goes on. So you may see some further changes. Just let me know if there's a change that you see that you don't like, and we can certainly change it back or talk about it and why I did it. So if there's no other further questions or anything, then
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second by Chandler and Billingsley. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Takes us to item number 5, just a resolution providing for the adoption of the amended budget for the city of Bryant for the 12-month period beginning January 1st, 2015 and ending December 31st, 2015. Are there any questions on this item?
Before we read that, get my
Yeah,
notation on that, does it need to be corrected before she reads it?
actually what we can do is there's a typo at the top of it on the date, we should make sure it's accurate, so I would ask that you approve it with the corrections.
and that's my mistake, sorry about that.
In the heading and also in the first paragraph?
Well, the first paragraph says, what we need to do is strike out the end that's amended by during fiscal year 2014. It just needs to end at resolution 2014-31, because that was the budget adoption resolution, and then strike the rest of that sentence. So, the core issue is the fund information, the below now therefore, that is all correct. Top stuff is correct, errors.
And also on this, I know that Parks is prepared to speak, if you guys would like to have them speak on further detail about their request, but they don't have to if you don't want them to. It's just further detail about the dirt, and that's the request for the water side for Parks General.
Is the budget still balanced if we pass this?
No, but we did have positive change in January, and so it will not be as great a negative as this is showing now, but we need to monitor it going forward, because this will put us slightly into the negative for general fund.
And, I'll check mine here. Would you explain to us before we take action on this, on Smith Lane, what happened to that in 2014? That's the bulk of this adjustment.
Yes, this was budgeted for 2014. We weren't able to get the property purchased and closed, so it carried over into this year. We didn't know the exact number of what it was going to be, and at the time, the resolution was
printed, it was $325,000, and since it has changed a little bit to $331,000 total. So I'd like for everybody to make a note on that. We can go ahead and correct that now, or we can correct it next month, whichever you prefer. So, this is for purchasing of driveway for the Echo Lake North of Highway 5.
Make a motion to correct it.
Second, Higginbotham.
Gotcha. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's going to be a resolution. That's what it's on there. Oh, right.
Second.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion to approve the resolution as amended.
Second. Rita. Guys, for the recording, if you don't say your name right away, I'll repeat them for it.
Okay, moving along with our,
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
Need a motion? Just a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And this is resolution 2015-11. Okay, next is also a resolution, item number 6. Resolution in support of the proposed legislation to reduce the administration costs of gross receipts taxes. Council, what this is when the state DFNA office collects our sales tax, they take 3% off the top, and they keep that. And then they send us the remainder. This is in support of a resolution that the municipal league is putting forward to the state legislature to reduce that, whether it be 1% or 1.5%. The technology has changed, it's streamlined a lot, it takes a lot less effort to administer that, those tax dollars back to the city, so we're requesting the state turn some of that money back over to the city, so that we can use for infrastructure and public safety and parks, the things that we need it for, and they're not absorbing it in administrative costs. So this is just a resolution saying the city of Bryant is supporting this, and then we'll follow with the municipal league and they will get done on this as they lobby for it at the state level.
Question before we move on to this, is the clerk supposed to read that title of this resolution?
Not the resolution, we just voted on it.
The resolution for support of this legislation, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 2015-12. Item number 7. Presentation and approval of the 2011 A133 audit for the scheduled expenditures and federal awards. Black will be presenting this for us.
I believe you all have copies in your packet, and I know it took several weeks to actually get this finalized, but as part of the packet, I did include the Federal Clearinghouse Confirmation Condition. So you now have everything, the rec letters, management letters, the report itself. So this item can be taken off of our list and we can close 2011. Okay. And are there any questions about the report itself?
On the report, we paid Thomas & Thomas to do this audit, and we paid them because Dr. Brown is, in our city, brought this to our attention.
No.
Okay, that's what I was asking, that was kind of a question.
Yeah, I don't believe so. Now, that took place before I got here, but I believe that it was just the result of the fact that we got over $500,000 in federal funds.
Okay, he didn't bring that out. Okay, that's what I was saying.
So, any further questions on the report itself?
And the only reason we had to do it is because we went over 500,000 on our federal money grant.
That's the money that we receive through grants. And that's just a product, I'm going to try to explain this so it's not confusing. This is kind of a byproduct of being a growing city. We're getting to the point that we're receiving more federal dollars, more grants than what we've received in the past because of the size that we are. part of growing up and acting our size. Through this audit, we learned a lot of things that we need to do in the future in regards to documenting and doing things because we're bigger than we used to be. We will continue to apply the things that we learned through this audit in all of our practices, regardless of whether we get $500,000 in grants each year. We would hope that we would get that many dollars in grants each year. We can't guarantee that, but you can't. It's hard to go back after you get that much money and do things the way that they want you to. So through this, we've learned to do things better, be more efficient, and the finance department has been well trained on the things that they need to be doing, so that the years that we do are blessed enough to receive $500,000 in grants, we'll have everything in order in the future. Is there a motion to accept this audit?
So moved. Second.
So motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The audit has been accepted unanimously. Number 8, presentation and approval of the Arkansas Natural Resource Commission financial review for both water and wastewater projects for the period January 1st, 2014 through December 31st, 2014. Are there any questions on this?
This had very favorable comments about our finance department, and I wanted to tell them we appreciate their hard work.
Amen.
Is there a motion to accept?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and second by Billingsley and Alderman Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to number 9. This is also the resolution to show support for the Bryant School District mills. This resolution was read earlier in the night during public comment. Motion, Scott Pruitt.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 2015-13 has been approved with 4 members.
And that election is March the 10th.
Early voting, I believe, starts Monday, is that correct? Tuesday. That takes us to item number 10. This is an ordinance. It also includes an emergency clause. This ordinance is to repeal ordinance number 2014-5, establishing a procedure for the purchasing of property services in the city of Bryant. Is there a motion to suspend the rules and put on first reading by title only?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
We need 6, so we have to read it in its entirety. Josh, would you like to read this?
An ordinance to repeal ordinance number 2014-05, establishing a procedure for the purchase of property and services in the city of Bryant, Arkansas, declaring an emergency and further purposes. Whereas the city of Bryant is a city of the first class and under Arkansas state law, Arkansas Code annotated section 14-58-303, vests exclusive authority to purchase all supplies, apparatus, equipment, materials, and other things requisite for public purposes in and for the city, and to make all necessary contracts for work or labor to be done, or material or other necessary things to be furnished for the benefit of the city, or in carrying out any work or undertaking of a public nature in the city, and the mayor or the mayor's duly authorized representative. Whereas the City Council of the City of Bryant adopted ordinance number 2014-05 that amended ordinance number 2005-27 regarding the authority of the office of the mayor as having exclusive power and responsibility to make purchases of all supplies, apparatus, equipment, materials, and other things requisite to public purposes for the city of Bryant, Arkansas, and to make all necessary contracts for work or labor to be done, or material or other necessary things to be furnished for the benefit of the city. Arkansas Code annotated section 14-58-303 creates a statutory limit wherein any expenditure over $20,000 must be competitively bid unless a lower limit is set by the city council. Whereas the city council of the city of Bryant wishes to repeal ordinance 2014-05 and return the authority of the office of the mayor to purchase according to Arkansas Code annotated section 14-58-303 to the amount of $20,000 before competitive bidding is required. Now, therefore, and be ordained by the City Council of the City of Bryant that ordinance 2014-05 is repealed. Section 1. Ordinance number 2014-05 is repealed in its entirety. Section 2. The office of the mayor or his or her duly authorized representative shall have exclusive power and responsibility to make purchases of all supplies, apparatus, equipment, materials, and other things requisite for public purposes for the city of Bryant, Arkansas, and to make all necessary contracts for work or labor to be done, or materials or other necessary things to be furnished for the benefit of the city, for the amount of the expenditure for any purchase or contract does not exceed the sum of $20,000. It has a reference to Arkansas Code annotated 14-58-303, little b, 1, big A. Section 3. When the amount of expenditure for any purchase or contract exceeds the sum of $20,000, the mayor or his or her duly authorized representative shall invite competitive bids thereon by legal advertisement in any local newspaper. Bids received pursuant to said advertisement shall be opened and read on the date set for receiving said bids in the presence of the mayor or his duly authorized representative. The contract may be awarded to the lowest responsible bidder. However, the mayor or his representative may reject any and all bids received. Arkansas Code annotated 14-58-303, little b, 2, big A, little I, little I, little I, little I, little I. Section 4. The office of the mayor or his or her representative may approve for payment out of any funds previously appropriated for that purpose or disapprove any bills, debts, or liabilities as claimed to the city when funds on hand are adequate to pay such bills or debts or liabilities. That the payment or disapproval of any bills, debts, or liabilities not covered by previous appropriations shall require confirmation of the governing body. Arkansas Code annotated 14-58-305. Little a, little b. Section 5. If any provision of this ordinance or the application thereof to any person or circumstance is held invalid, such invalidity shall not affect other provisions or applications of the ordinance which can be given effect without the invalid provision or application. And to this end, the provisions of this ordinance are declared to be severable. Section 6. The city council believes that an emergency exists and hereby declares an emergency, placing this ordinance in full force and effect immediately upon its passage.
Before we make another motion, I'd like to ask our legal counsel, does not vote constitute six votes within the and if it does, Josh, I apologize, but you didn't read that.
I believe it does.
The mayor has authority to vote to take action, and can't vote on it for emergency clause. So
It's not necessarily a time.
the mayor's vote is required. So if there's 5 votes, we need 6
have a motion to put on second and third reading by title only?
So moved. Second by.
Is there a second?
Thank you.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
No.
No.
All vote in the affirmative, yes, for the second and third reading by title only. As a point of discussion for the audience information, this ordinance is simply being amended by the council to put the amount that the city must put out to bid back from $12,500 back to $20,000, which is in accordance and in alignment with state law. By doing so, this saves the city money in having to legally post things in the newspaper locally. We still get free bids for almost everything we do. Our department heads are excellent, no matter how low the price is, to look around for free bids. But when the purchase exceeds $20,000, state law requires that we go and put the bids in the paper, and we should, post notification. So by doing this, it's just saving the city money, and an ordinance that is required to be on the books directing us to stay in alignment with state law.
Further discussion?
Yes.
Please. Each and every one of these department heads has sat before the city council in workshops in the past several months discussing finance and budget. And each and every one of them has looked us square in the eye and told us they will abide by the laws of the state of Arkansas. And each and every one of them has demonstrated to us their knowledge and their willingness to bend over backwards, and we've seen it in how they've handled their budgets and meeting the shortfall that we faced last year. And as for myself, I don't want to see us have another stoplight issue like we had last summer and went weeks because it's $15,000 and we couldn't get it approved. Each and every one of them has sworn to us that they'll do that. They've never done anything to demonstrate anything that's against that, or shown in any way that they would circumvent that. Thank you.
There's a motion and second to put on second and third reading by title only. We've done that. Okay.
Ordinance with emergency clause, ordinance to repeal ordinance number 2014-05, establishing a procedure for the purchasing of property and services in the city of Bryant.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved. Higginbotham.
Second.
Second, yes.
This will be a roll call vote.
Billingsley,
Yes.
Chandler,
Yes.
Gladden,
Yes.
Henson,
Yes.
Higginbotham,
Yes.
Miller,
No.
Arminer,
No.
Rodell, absent.
That's five in the affirmative. That carries the ordinance. This will be ordinance number 2016-6. Is there a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
So moved.
Second.
This also will be a roll call vote.
What is the emergency?
Just to prevent us to post any bids over the next 30 days in the newspaper that are between $12,500 and $20,000. It allows us to, for tomorrow, to start using the ordinances, which is passed tonight. Otherwise, without the emergency clause, it's just 30 days. It's just a convenience to the city.
Mr. Billingsley,
Yes.
Chandler,
Yes.
Gladden,
Yes.
Henson,
Yes.
Higginbotham,
Yes.
Miller,
No.
Arminer,
No.
and Rodell, absent.
That's five in the affirmative. The emergency clause has been passed.
No.
Oh, six, okay. All vote in the affirmative. Okay. We'll wait 30 days, not a problem.
What was the ordinance number?
2016-6. That takes us to item number 11. This is a a resolution authorizing myself to negotiate for and acquire right-of-way for offers from landowners for a south route connecting Interstate 30 with the south side of the city of Bryant. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second by Bill and Colleen Henson. It's open for discussion.
I would like to ask if we could possibly have a workshop on Route 3 and 9 on March the 10th on the south side, and at Grace Church on March the 24th, if that facility is available on the north side.
After action is taken on this, motion and second, if you'd like to make a motion in that effect, then we have council vote on that. Okay, there's a motion and second. If there's no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
Roll call.
Billingsley,
Yes.
Chandler,
Yes.
Gladden,
Yes.
Henson,
Yes.
Higginbotham,
No.
Miller,
No.
Carmina,
No.
No, that's four then. I will vote in the affirmative to pass this resolution.
Now, I would like to make a motion on March the 10th to have a workshop on Route 3 and 9 at 6 o'clock at Bishop Park for budget, streets, and, that's all at this time.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Can we
Second, Johnson.
say this all again, or we gonna have a workshop at two different places, the same night, is that what you said?
No, everything's 24.
March the 10th and March the 24th, if Grace Church is available. It's on Route 3 and Route 9,
What's the purpose?
and on budget. We were going to have a workshop on the budget in February, and we never had that. So that's the reason I included that at this time. And then on the streets to discuss Route 9 and Route 3 before the action is taken to secure right-of-way for South Route.
Yeah, that's when the Grace Church is a polling place on March 10th. Is the election day, so I think that's the 20th is Bishop Park.
No, that's right.
March 10th at Bishop Park for the workshop. March 24th at Grace Church for the workshop.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Is there any discussion?
And that was just to have the people on the north side a chance to come to a meeting, and the people on the south side a chance to come to a meeting. That was just for convenience for the students.
I do have a question for Joy. Joy, you had mentioned recently about having a budget workshop after we got past the first quarter. I think it would be better if we separated these two meetings. I think we're going to be having a public meeting combined with a council workshop in public space. And I think if we put our finances, it would be better to
So take budget out and just have three.
Joy, would you agree with that?
Is that okay?
Yeah, that'd be fine. And we can look at, I think the original date I suggested was, the former date for FMP and AP.
We already scheduled that meeting. So you amend your motion for general district?
Anything to do with the Route 3 and 9 to be presented to the public and for a workshop for the council. And also invite the Chamber, Glenn County Economic Development, and the airport.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to have two workshops in March to discuss two different routes in our master street plan. If there's no other discussion, all in favor say aye. Any opposed?
No. No.
Roll call vote, please.
Higginbotham, Billingsley,
No.
Chandler,
No.
Gladden,
No.
Henson,
No.
Higginbotham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Carminer,
Yes.
The motion fails.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to item number 12. This is a resolution authorizing myself to accept donation of real property. This is a piece of property that is over close to the Bishop Park that is in the floodway. So Wesley is circle.
Can y'all move, the screens up a little bit?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that takes us to the Park Department. Oh, sorry. 2015-14. Resolution 2015-14. Okay, we're ready to move forward. We'll go to item number 13. Park employee positions and restructuring.
And this is a neutral, a budget neutral decision and endorsed by our Parks Committee just recently. It's basically, we have a vacant position in the recreation superintendent position. And then we froze the programming position this last year to help mitigate some of our budgeting issues. And so at this time, we want to open that back up and we'll be able to use that money to bring in other staff members.
Is there a motion to approve?
Budget neutral.
Yes. Budget.
Move to approve. Higginbotham.
Second.
And
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 14, membership promotions.
and you guys have a handout in your packet. It is basically, this has been endorsed by our Parks Committee. In the last 3 years, there's been a growing amount of gyms and other space that are coming into town and competing with Bishop Park. We're trying to find ways to become more competitive and be more business driven. You have seen a list of things that we can do to promotional ideas for Bishop Park, and basically itemize for you. If you have any questions about it, I can help you guys kind of explain each one. Mostly contract driven. In the last year, I've been up here a few times talking about some of the things we try to do to bring in more members, make it more advantageous to come to the center, a lot more value for memberships. And these things right here will be able to do that, as well as be able to bring more membership, more revenue, and then increase our contracts.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Higginbotham.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 14. Item number 15 is in regards to the John Deere lease.
And so you have a couple handouts for this, and I'll bring this up real quick. A big thing we've had is our line item of grounds and maintenance. We have a lot of equipment that has become faulty, and we spent a lot of money trying to fix things that basically fall out of warranty or don't need to be heavy fixing. This is the same thing we did this previous year on the lease, and Speedy can kind of speak to you about some of the needs for these different pieces of equipment to help us be more efficient in the park, utilize a lot less money on trying to keep up old pieces of equipment. If you guys have any questions on that.
So you had 30,000 in the budget and you need an additional 12, is that correct?
This is also a budget neutral
Okay.
So this is already in the budget, but it's just something that is, more or less being able to keep new items under lease instead of, we're gonna save money in maintenance by doing this, especially the low staffing that we have.
But we already talked about this during the budget time.
They did, yes, they did 16,000, I believe, in 2014, and the budget is in there for 30,000, so this is to do an additional 12 this year, and then they will be making that same payment on those items for three years.
Yes.
12,000 for 3 years.
And, right, but that one will roll off the year before.
So the motion is to approve this contract. Okay, is there a motion to approve this contract?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, contract approved. Thank you, Brandon. That takes us to the planning department. The little girl has been sitting in the audience all night, being very patient for us to get to this agenda item. And I'm not talking about Dave, the little girl.
Mayor, Council, this is a request by Mr. Alan Schrader to rezone the tract of land from RE residential to R2 residential. It's very close to the Hart Bryant area. It shares a common boundary line with it, but it's not actually included in that area. Planning Commission has held a public hearing on this and has voted unanimously to approve it, and we recommend that to you tonight. Be happy to answer any questions. Mr. Schrader is here as well to respond to any questions that you may have concerning the Viper character development.
A motion to approve. Go ahead, Rick.
Is there a second?
I've got a question. I'm not being up to snuff on my rating. Tell me this, please. RE.
I knew that would happen. To kind of, just a brief moment, go back in history a little bit. There was a time when Bryant had a lot of little donut holes of unincorporated land within our bigger boundary line. And I think it was probably about 10 years or so, there was an effort, a movement made to incorporate those areas into the city of Bryant. But what you had is you had unincorporated areas that were all on a septic system. There was no public sewer system. The RE residential district was specifically designed for properties, residential properties, that did not have access to a public sewer system. Most of those properties have been dealt with, since that time, meaning that we have extended sewer to those properties. They had a 1 acre minimum lot size, and that was a health department requirement from Saline County in order to percolate a septic system. Sewer is provided to those properties, so the REs, the reason behind the REs really doesn't fit this particular property.
There's a motion to put on, to suspend the rules and put on first reading by title only. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion approved,
Wait,
second.
you gotta read the
I'm
motion.
down, sorry. I'm ready to roll.
Ordinance changing the zoning of a certain tract of land from RE residential to R2 residential.
Is there a motion to put on second and third reading by title only?
So moved. Higginbotham.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
Ordinance changing the zoning of a certain tract of land from RE residential to R2 residential.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt. Second. Higginbotham.
I'm running your order real quick.
This will be a roll call vote.
Billingsley,
Yes.
Chandler,
Yes.
Gladden,
Yes.
Henson,
Yes.
Higginbotham,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Terminator,
Yes.
The ordinance 2015-7.
It ain't getting any emergency calls.
No emergency clause needed on this one. We're going to effect in 30 days. Public Works, is there a motion there? Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Mr. Rader.
All right, I'm asking for permission to move forward and purchase some water meters. About $10,500 worth of that.
This is already in your current budget, it's just about the restricted amount of time. This is the budget neutral request, council.
Motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And next is our last ordinance for the night. This is an ordinance amending ordinance number 2011-28 to establish a minimum in lieu fee for the city of Bryant stormwater management.
Motion to table this ordinance until we move forward. Next 30 days to review as required by law.
Just a little background information, in preparing this, after looking at the ordinance 2028, it requires any amendments to be reviewed by the MS4 program for 30 days prior to any amendment. So, asking that this be tabled for 30 days, our spoken with Ben, he's working on the report, and that's for you in the council meeting.
Motion to table, is there a second?
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This item is tabled to the next meeting. We moved public comments at the beginning of the meeting to accommodate residents. Council, at this time, I would like to ask you, would you like to amend Resolution 2015-1 to move public comments back to the beginning of the meeting where they have been for the previous 4 years? Yes.
Yes.
I make a motion that we move back with one stipulation. You get 3-minute clock.
Okay.
We're gonna live for 3 minutes. I want a 3-minute clock sitting up there so we know how long they get.
Dana, can you get us a 3-minute hourglass, please?
Big enough for me.
Or clock? Or we can put it on the monitor. Dana, you can put it on the monitor.
on the monitor, it's just gonna be a countdown to move every minute.
They're not going to be able to see it if they're looking at us.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So with that stipulation, there's a motion to move public comments and to amend Resolution 2015-1. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Okay,
Discussion.
I would like to also consider taking out the clause that the attachments have 24 hours and leave all the attachments to the 6 days.
Council, I will tell you, this is an exorbitant request in relationship to what it takes to put your agenda together, the work that the department heads do. I've looked at what other cities do. Our city next door, Benton, puts amendments on an agenda on a Friday for a meeting that is on Monday. This
Okay,
will really hamstring the city to do
the
this.
key thing's great, I have a motion,
Okay.
and I'm not gonna accept the amendment to my motion. Let's put on my motion, and then the stipulation.
Okay, point of order. All in favor, say aye on the motion that's on the table. Any opposed? Okay, Ms. Miller, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to strike the attachments that are to be attached within 24 hours in order to give council 6 days to review the entire package.
Is there a second? Motion? Okay. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion fails. Are there any other, we have do public comments on the agenda at this point in time that we're going to take for next month? Are there any public comments at this time? Okay. I do not have any comments. Okay.
elected city attorney under the 2006 Postal Service. I'm asking the city council to take action and pass an ordinance that clarifies the role and responsibility of the elected city attorney. Currently, we are in an ambiguous and somewhat awkward territory with an elected city attorney, a staff attorney that reports to the mayor, and a contracted attorney who prosecutes our misdemeanors. The ordinance that describes the role of the elected city attorney is vague. It only lists 4 duties. It says that the city should reside within the city limits of Bryant, that the city attorney abides by and enforces all the ordinances, that the city attorney prosecutes the city misdemeanors, and that the city attorney shall take the oath of office. In my opinion, this ordinance does not accurately reflect the common expectation of the role of the elected city attorney position. I think it's fair to say that we all expect the elected city attorney to do more than just these 4 things. If you read the ordinance literally, it does not require much of the elected city attorney position. Because we already have an attorney under contract to prosecute our misdemeanors, and we have a staff attorney that reports to the mayor to handle civil matters, as the elected city attorney under this ordinance, I can literally sit back, do nothing, and collect a check every month. However, I did not run for this position to sit back and do nothing and collect a check. I ran to use my education, my skills, and my talents to serve my hometown, to help our government be a better government, and to help our Bryant be a better Bryant. Prior to being sworn into office, I was under the impression that the elected city attorney would be the chief legal officer of the city and would be in charge of the legal department. That is still my expectation of the position. However, during my 2 months in office so far, that has not been the practice. To be candid here, the current situation so far is that the elected city attorney is a little more than a figurehead position. The city council has discussed clarifying this role since September of last year, workshops, city council meetings, and committee meetings. At last month's city council meeting, I put a proposed ordinance on the agenda to clarify the role and responsibility of the elected city attorney, and it was tabled indefinitely without any discussion from the council, and it was not added to the agenda for tonight's meeting. Now I believe it is time for the council to take action in this regard, one way or another. I do not by any means want this to be a divisive issue for our city government, and I'm not interested in playing any political games regarding my role. If any of you disagree with the idea that the elected city attorney should serve as the head of the legal department and serve as the chief legal officer of the city, I sincerely welcome that feedback. I still ask that you would make a council decision to clarify how you want our legal department structured and what role you want the elected city attorney to play. I much prefer that you would address this issue one way or another in an open forum than continue to table this matter into the indefinite future. So again, I'm asking you all as a council to pass an ordinance clarifying that the role and responsibility of the elected city attorney and stating that the elected city attorney is the chief legal officer of the city and the leader of Bryant's legal department. If you would like my assistance in drafting the ordinance, as always, I'm happy to help you all. Thanks.
Take the mayor's comments. I don't have any comments tonight, other than have a great night, and that brings us to council comments. Council comments?
I have a comment. There was 3 days, the third day added on of holiday pay in December 2014, and the public safety employees, which is fire and police, were excluded from that pay, and I was wondering if that had been rectified at the time.
Just a correction to your comment, it wasn't actually holiday pay, it was just the city offices were closed on December the 26th. We followed the governor's lead and many other mayors and judges across the state of Arkansas to close city offices on that day simply because there was going to be no activity going on from a business standpoint. By doing so, that saved the city money. We didn't turn electricity on. We didn't have people here when we didn't need them. It was the privilege of the mayor to close city offices, similar to how I've had to do the last couple of weeks due to weather. So it wasn't holiday pay. Holiday pay falls under different stipulations. And we also followed what the state and the And so that, we actually was taken, discussed in a staff meeting, with all the department heads. That was the understanding at that point in time. And so that's what the city council, if you want to do something different in regard to that, you're certainly welcome to. But I, as the mayor, didn't have the authority to adjust the budget to give additional pay in that regard.
There was an email sent out, and it was also posted on the City Hall door as a holiday, and there was also an email sent out. Could the legal staff look at this and give us a report next month, please? Thank you.
As no state police were paid for that day.
Okay? So we're going to now give you different information.
And also, do we know that the total dollar amount of how this would have affected the budget? If we paid them, how much it's going to cost to pay them?
There is.
The question is, Mr. Henson, whether it's a holiday pay, holiday that's defined by the governing body of the city council. If it's holiday pay defined by the city council, then it would apply to all police officers, all firefighters, whether they're working that day or not. If you decide to do something for those that had to specifically work that day, but not defined as holiday pay, that's within the realm of authority of council to do. But it depends on how you define it. If you say it's a holiday, and we want to recognize it as a holiday pay, then certain statutes apply, and that pay goes to all of them whether they work that day or not.
Well, is what I see is it just being a morale issue. We can split hairs and call it a holiday pay or overtime or whatever.
Well, the question is, and I'll get with Roy also, the question is, do you want it for everyone, even though that had it off for police and fire or not? And we'll have those options for you that council meeting outside.
Were any city employees paid for that holiday, that day off?
Paid,
Were any city employees paid for being off that day?
their city employees received their pay for that day. The issue is if you're a police officer or firefighter and it's holiday pay based on holiday, it's extra hours. So for example, I work 2,000 hours a year. If I'm a police officer, I get paid for 2,088 hours because that's 11 extra days. So if you add that, that would be 12 days. I would get paid for 2,096 hours. Does that make sense? So we'll have that for you at the next council meeting.
And also have the emails that were sent out, because after I read the emails, it did state that it was holiday pay for an extra day, so just have all the information for us. And does council want to have a workshop or anything for the staff attorney at this time?
I would like to see a little bit of clarification on the role of it. So,
On the role of staff attorney, you want a workshop? The fee has come forth and asked for clarification. This body is the only one that can give clarification because it's an ordinance that designates the 4 items that he was talking about.
Or we'll just draft up an old ordinance and discuss it next meeting, or vote on it the next meeting.
It has to be amended to the current one, yes.
So I guess no more workshop.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Come on,